The drive takes him 3 days. He is heading deep into the Pacific Northwest, way off the grid. As he gets closer to the coordinates, the roads turn to dirt. His cell service drops to 0. The towering pine trees are so thick they block out the sunlight, making it feel like he's driving through a green tunnel. The tension in the car is crazy. You can practically feel Elias's heartbeat through the pages. He's terrified, second-guessing himself every mile, wondering if he is driving into a trap. But finally, the trees clear up, and he sees it. A rusted iron sign hanging by one chain that just says, Golden. Population, 14. Yeah, 14. Elias parks his car near what looks like an abandoned diner. The town is dead silent. It doesn't look magical, it doesn't look wealthy. It looks like a ghost town that time forgot. As he steps out of the car, the cold wind hits his face. He walks up to the diner, pushes the squeaky wooden door open, and walks inside. The smell of old coffee and dust hits him. Sitting at the counter, with his back to Elias, is a guy wearing a faded denim jacket, calmly eating a slice of cherry pie. Elias clears his throat. Hey, I'm looking for someone named Theo. The guy stops chewing. He doesn't turn around. The silence in the diner is so loud it's deafening. Then, the guy speaks, and his voice is ridiculously calm. Almost too calm. People come here looking for Theo because they think they want answers, the man says, still staring at the wall. But you don't want answers, Elias. You want an excuse. Elias freezes. He never said his name. His heart drops into his stomach. How do you know my name? He stammers. The man slowly turns around. He isn't old or mystical looking. He looks like a regular guy in his late 30s, sharp eyes, messy hair. This is Theo. He looks Elias dead in the eye and smiles, but it's not a warm smile. It's a smile that says, I know every single secret you are hiding from yourself. Theo stands up, walks over to Elias, and slides a blank piece of paper and a black pen across the counter. You are here because your life is a tragedy that you are writing yourself, Theo says, his voice slicing through the air. You blame your boss, you blame your ex, you blame the economy, you blame your anxiety. But the brutal truth, Elias? You are deeply, madly in love with your own suffering. It gives you an identity. Boom. That line right there? It hits so insanely hard. It's the first massive emotional punch of the book. Alan Levi writes this scene so perfectly that as a reader, you literally feel like Theo is talking directly to you through the pages. You feel exposed. Elias tries to argue, tries to get defensive, but the words get stuck in his throat because he knows Theo is 100% right. Theo points to the blank paper. You want the golden protocol? You want the secret to becoming untouchable? It starts right now. I am going to give you 3 tests. Fail any of them, and you get back in your car and leave forever. Pass them, and I will show you how to bend reality to your will. Elias is shaking. He asks, what's the first test? Theo leans in, his eyes locking onto Elias's. Write down the absolute worst thing you have ever done to someone else. The thing you have never told a single soul. The thing that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. If you lie, I will know. And if you try to make yourself look like the victim, I will know. Elias stares at the paper. His hands are trembling. The memory he has buried for 6 years, the dark, toxic secret he has run away from his entire adult life, starts bubbling up to the surface. He realizes that self-development isn't about adding positive habits, it's about brutally ripping out the toxic roots you've been ignoring. He picks up the pen. He hesitates. The air in the room feels impossibly heavy. He finally places the tip of the pen on the paper and writes one single sentence. He slides it back to Theo. Theo reads it. For a solid 10 seconds, nobody breathes. Then, Theo slowly looks up, his expression completely unreadable. He folds the paper, puts it in his pocket, and leans closer to Elias. "You actually wrote that," Theo whispers, his tone completely shifting from calm to something almost dangerous. "I thought you were just a lost kid, Elias. But what you did, that changes everything. You shouldn't have come here." Before Elias can even react, the lights in the diner suddenly flicker and die, plunging the entire room into pitch-black darkness. And in the dark, a voice, but it's not Theo's voice, whispers right directly into Elias's ear, "Run." Pitch black. Imagine being in a dusty, weird diner in the middle of nowhere, the lights completely shut off, and a voice you don't recognize just whispered the word "run" directly into your ear. You can actually feel the breath on your neck. What would you do? Because Elias does exactly what any of us would do, he absolutely panics. His heart skyrockets to 180 beats per minute. He scrambles backward, his chair scraping violently against the wooden floor, and he just bolts. He is bumping into tables, scraping his knees, blindly feeling for the exit until his hands finally hit the cold metal handle of the diner door. He bursts out into the freezing night air, gasping for breath, the heavy pine-scented wind hitting his face. He sprints to his beat-up Honda Civic, his hands shaking so violently he can barely get the key into the door. He jumps in, locks the doors, and jams the key into the ignition. But right before he turns it, he freezes. He sits there in the dark car, gripping the steering wheel, his chest heaving. He looks at his own hands in the dim moonlight, rises out of the darkness. It looks like a high-tech bunker or a secret research facility. It has no windows into the room. Theo steps back, his face completely blank. Elias turns around to see, and let me tell you, Elias is basically the poster child for our generation. He is 24. Elias parks his car near what looks like an abandoned diner. The town is dead silent. Toxic secret he has run away from his entire adult life starts bubbling up to the surface. He realizes that subtle forever. So, he takes a deep breath, takes the keys out of the ignition, opens. Theo walks down an aisle, stops at a specific section, and pulls out a small black box. Watching Elias closely. "Is there a problem, Elias?" "No," Elias says quickly, hiding his shaking hand inside his jacket pocket. "No problem." Theo smiles that same chilling smile. "Good." The clock is ticking. 24 hours. A few minutes later, Elias is back outside in the freezing cold air, walking alone toward his car. His heart is pounding against his ribs. He pulls his hand out of his pocket and unfolds the crumpled piece of paper Marcus gave him. He holds it up to the pale moonlight to read the messy, rushed handwriting. The note says, "The Golden Protocol is real. It will give you everything you ever wanted. But you don't survive it. They aren't building leaders, Elias. They are building replacements. Do not turn that phone on. Get out while you still have your own mind."